Welcome back. They're measurements again. First, I wanted to fill out our chart at the middle of page 32. This is going to help us with the next activity. So we noticed the other day that angles were either parallel, or either congruent, or they were supplements based on what they were. So if we look at our list down here, which one of these would always be congruent and which one would always be supplements? Okay. Now, if they are vertical angles, they will always be congruent. And if they are linear pairs, they will always be supplements. Now, these remaining 5 will either be parallel or supplements if you have parallel lines. So consecutive angles, doesn't matter whether they are interior or exterior, are going to be supplements. So I'm going to put this star next to it because these are only supplements if I know the lines are parallel. Okay? And then these will always be congruent. But once again, let's put stars next to them because these are only congruent if I know the lines are parallel. Okay? And then we're actually going to use these next week when we have class to write equations and find the missing piece. Okay? Now that you've got this written down, let's look at right above that chart on page 32. Let's look at the example that's right above that chart. They've given us this diagram here, and they want us to find the measures of angles 1 through 10. They tell us that angle 1 is 48 degrees. Now we notice that all the diagonal lines are parallel, and all the horizontal lines are parallel. So that means all of our angles are either going to be supplements, so they add up to 180, or they're going to be congruent, so that they're equal. So we need to compare the angles together in order to find their measurements. And then they want us to explain why. Okay, so we're going to start out with angle 2. Well, since I only have angle 1, I'm going to have to compare angle 2 with angle 1. And I notice that they are linear pairs because together they make a straight line. So here's the line that they form. So what do we know about linear pairs? Well, linear pairs are supplements. They add up to 180. So that means angle 1 and angle 2 have to add up to 180. So angle 2 is going to be 132 degrees. Now let's look at angle 3. Now we have lots of choices. There's angle 3 right there. I can either compare it to angle 2 or I can compare it to angle 1. And if I compare it to angle 1, I notice that they are corresponding. So that's going to make them equal. But if I compare it to 2, they're supplements. So which is easier? So those are corresponding angles with angle number 1. And corresponding angles are always equal. So that's going to make it 48 degrees. Now let's go to angle 4. Is it possible to compare angle 4 with angle 1? No, they don't have a special name. So I need to try angle 2. Still no help. But if I go to angle 3, now they have a special name. They are interior angles, and they are on alternate sides, so they are alternate interior angles. And we compared it with angle 3. So what do we know about alternate interior angles? They are equal. So that means angle 4 has to equal angle 3. So it is 48 degrees. Now let's jump to angle 5. Can I compare angle 5 to angle 3? No. So, what about to angle 4? Yeah. Now I notice they are on the same side of the transversal, and one is inside and one is outside. So they are consecutive, or corresponding, sorry. So angle 5 is corresponding with angle 4. So that makes them equal. Angle 4 is 48, so angle 5 is 48. Now let's jump to angle 6. Are angles 5 and 6 related? Yes. This time they're both interior angles. So these are alternate interior angles. So I'm comparing angle 5 or angle 6 to angle 5. And what do we know about alternate interior angles? They are equal. So angle 5 is 48. So angle 6 is 48. Now let's look at angle 7. Okay. Well, I'm only using 2 lines to form those. So angles 6 and 7 are linear pairs. So angle 6, if I compare angle 7 and angle 6, they are linear pairs, so they are supplements. So if angle 6 is 48, angle 7 needs to be 132 because they are linear pairs. Now let's jump to angle 8. So here's the angles. Notice when I'm highlighting, I am highlighting the lines that I use to make that angle. So that makes it easier to see what's interior and exterior. So are angles 7 and 8 the same? Or related? Yeah. They're on the same side of the transversal, so they are corresponding. So I'm going to compare angle 8 with angle 7. Corresponding angles, are they equal or congruent, or equal or supplements? They are equal. So angle 7 is 132, so angle 8 has to be 132. Now wait a minute, up here when they were equal, they were 48. The equal has nothing to do with these two numbers, but it's the numbers we're comparing. 7 and 8 have to be the same, where we had 4 and 3 had to be the same. So now let's jump to angle 9. So let's highlight the new ones. So these are the angles I need. How are 7 and 8 related, or 8 and 9 related? Well, they are alternate. Nope, they are consecutive interior angles. So I'm comparing 8 and 9. Consecutive angles are supplements, so it needs to add to 180. So that means the 132 plus this has to be 180. So I want to use the 48. Now these two add up to 180. And lastly, let's go with angle 10. Now angles 9 and 10 are related. They are linear pairs. So linear pairs should be supplements. So that means 9 and 10 have to add up to 180. So I need to choose the 132. Okay. If you have any questions, you can send me an email or we can set up a video chat. Go ahead and do the homework for this lesson.